I'm doing some simple analysis of the Wuhan coronavirus in contrast to that of SARS. Just some simple observational analysis, just looking at some information on the surface topically, just some topical analysis, not delving too deep into it, not in a panic mode here, just looking at the information as it stands. Now, it is in some regard quite serious because people have died. Some people have passed away and are now deceased as a result. So that's a really fucked up thing. That's bad. That is not good. And for those of you who know me, you can tell from the sound of my voice that when I say something like the aforesaid, that I mean that sincerely. Like, and that's just fucked up. The people who passed away prematurely, man, as a result of some deadly coronavirus. So, taking that into consideration, I feel really bad for those folks and their families, naturally. Looking at SARS, I don't know if any of you, and I'm by no means an epidemiologist or any type of like expert on infectious diseases or any, or anything like that. I'm just an average Joe, who happens to be, a dude with an IT background, and I play with some numbers here and there, and I'm not like a super mathematician or anything like that. Just a normal guy looking at some data and trying to be practical, as practical as can be. So, SARS originated, if I'm not mistaken, in China, and it was what do they say? Severe, acute, respiratory. Let's look it up. Let's not get this wrong. We're going to work on this together. We're going to work on this issue and see what SARS was, and we're going to compare it to the coronavirus. SARS virus. Give me one moment. By the way, I'm One Sir Grove. This is C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. If you are true fans of this show, then we 495 most certainly appreciate you. So here we go. Let's look this up. What is SARS?
According to Mayo Clinic, a contagious and sometimes fatal respiratory illness caused by a coronavirus.
Okay. So it goes on to say severe, acute, respiratory syndrome. So again, severe, acute, respiratory syndrome, SARS. And it says here at the website that it occurred in 2002. And no known transmission, quote, no known transmission since 2004. Okay, so it's now 2020. So that was 16 years ago approximately. So 1.5 decades, no known transmission since 2004. All right, let's see how many. It goes on to say it spreads by airborne respiratory droplets, coughs or sneezes, by touching contaminated surface, blanket, or doorknob, by saliva, kissing or shared drinks, by skin-to-skin contact, handshakes or hugs. So that sounds quite transmissible, if you ask me. Let's see how many fatalities there were. How many fatalities were there with SARS?
774. Here's a summary from CDC. During November 2002 through July 2003, a total of 8,098 people worldwide became sick with severe acute respiratory syndrome that was accompanied by either pneumonia or respiratory distress syndrome, according to the World Health Organization. 774 died.
Okay, so 774 people died. And it says here at cdc.gov that, as she indicated, from 2002 through July 2000, so from November of 2002 through July, the summer, from the winter of 2002 to the summer of 2003, which wasn't that, I guess, so 8 months, and then November, December, so 10 months, almost a year, and over the course of that year, it says a total of 8,098 people worldwide became sick. And again, for the record, quote, that was accompanied respiratory syndrome that was accompanied by either pneumonia or respiratory distress syndrome, according to the World Health Organization. So of 8,774 died. Simple math, round the 700, make that 1,000. It's 1/8. It's 1/8. I'm just saying, if there are 8,000 and 1,000 of those 8,000 sick and died, that's 1,000 to 8,000 ratio. It does say here, I looked this up prior to the podcast, that this is from Wall Street Journal. Quote, so far the Wuhan virus appears to be milder than SARS or MERS. Though it has sickened some people severely, and there have been deaths, MERS killed about a third of those infected, while SARS resulted in the deaths of about 1 in 10. So I said 1 in 8, round it 1 in 10. So close enough, 1 out of 8, 1 out of 10. I understand that over the span of a population, there's a huge difference, but I was rounding numbers. So SARS killed 1 in 10. It goes on to say, by contrast, the mortality rate from the Wuhan virus is tracking at roughly 3%. That's the number after 2. 1, 2, 3%. So instead of 1/10, you're looking at 3%. And again, as sad as it is that these people have died and passed away as a result of this virus, right now, it looks like 3%, which is, as the Wall Street Journal indicated there, a milder outbreak. So if this does last the same amount of time, approximately, as SARS, then, and if it continues with this trend, it doesn't look as severe as SARS, at least on the surface. And let's hope that it doesn't increase in its it doesn't increase with regard to its wrath. One moment here. How many people worldwide sickened Wuhan?
Here's a summary from Los Angeles Times. China's 2003 outbreak of SARS was believed to have originated through animal-to-human transmission in a marketplace like the one in Wuhan. More than 8,000 people around the world became sick, and 774 of them died.
How many people currently sickened by the Wuhan virus?
According to the New York Times, the virus has sickened more than 2,000 people in China and a handful in other countries. Deaths from the coronavirus had previously been reported outside of Hubei.
All right, so that's from the New York Slimes, and that's from 3 hours ago. So 2,000 people. When did the Wuhan virus start?
According to Forbes, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that initial cases of 2019 ncov are linked to the Huanan seafood market in Wuhan. The outbreak likely started from a spillover incident when the virus was passed from animal to human.
Okay, that's from 3 days ago. If we go to Forbes, it says that the market was shut down on 1 January. Today is 26 January, Sunday. And so I'm scanning this document, and it says, okay, so this Forbes article was, bear with me, I'm scanning, I'm looking, I'm reading, analyzing. This was 23 January. All right, so this is from 3 days ago as well. Just as the New York Times, that article that preceded this Forbes article by Leah Rosenbaum is also from 3 days ago. And I'm just scanning through it, looking for information. All right, so 3 days ago it says, quote, Chinese authorities have so far said that almost 600 people have become infected. So in 72 hours, the number that was reported by the Chinese authorities there, 600 has tripled and is now 2,000. Just, add 3 to it. Times 3 is 1,800, and you've got your number 2,000 from just 3 hours ago. So in 72 hours, the number is tripled. And then it goes on to say, quote, Imperial College London suggests, experts from Imperial College London suggest China's case numbers are conservative, issuing a report on Wednesday stating that 400 people could currently be infected. So if we are to believe that additional information, so 600 times, let's see, 7 would be 42, 6. So 6 times 6 is your 3,600. So it would have increased 6 times. Be 6 times the number. More than 6 times the number of cases within 72 hours. If that information is true, albeit it is stating that 2,000 people are currently, so the difference of 2,000 and, 4,000? So the number may be double. The number could be double what is being stated in mainstream media, but let's take a look at it again. How many people worldwide are sick because of Wuhan virus?
Here's a summary from CNN.com. Beijing now has 68 confirmed cases of Wuhan coronavirus. The baby is the youngest known case to be confirmed so far. To date, the virus has infected more than 2,000 people worldwide and killed more than 50 in China.
Okay. So, scanning Al Jazeera 22 minutes ago. Let's see what Al Jazeera says here. It says basically the same thing, although the number has gone up to 56 people infected and at least 1,975 more in the country. Accelerates. Al Jazeera also says, quote, a nationwide ban on wildlife trade is in place in more than 56 million people and almost 20 cities are affected. Let's see which countries have confirmed. This is also Al Jazeera. quote, people in more than 10 countries, mostly in Asia, have been diagnosed with the virus. All right. Here's the timeline from Al Jazeera. It says Chinese authorities have closed off almost 20 cities. And all right, so here it is. Here's what I was looking for before. Quote, on January 31, China alerted the World Health Organization, WHO, that's WHO, to several cases of pneumonia in Wuhan. So that was on December 31. It's now 26 January. So 26 days ago, almost a month ago, this outbreak was reported by the Chinese government. We don't know how long it had actually been, but it was reported on the 31st of December, so 31 December. And it says, several cases of pneumonia in Wuhan, a port city of 11 million people in the central Hubei province. The virus is unknown. That was back on, again, 31 December. And so then the market was shut down on 1 January. So you can see where China, looking at this open source intel, you can see where China reported it on 31st of December. And within 24 hours or less, they fucking shut down the seafood market. Like, that shit was shut the fuck down and sealed up and sealed off. And now they've got, what did they say, 20? Yep, 20 cities scanning back up from 12 hours ago. And it's 2:32 p.m. So 14:32. And it says that as of 12 hours ago, 20 cities have been closed off in China. 20 cities. Let's see, what else does Al Jazeera say? They have some pretty good data here on this timeline. All right, I'm just scanning, looking for information. Beyond that, where is the same information from the other sources, other news media sources. Quote, the novel virus is from the coronavirus family, which includes SARS and the common cold, and is named 2019-ncov. So, and it's important to mention that, as Al Jazeera also goes on to state, quote, coronaviruses are common and spread through coughing, sneezing, or touching an infected person. Touching an infected person. So basically, this is a replay of SARS from 15 years ago. It's a replay of SARS from 15 years ago. And let's just hope that those numbers come down. So that's an overview of the situation. I want to thank you, the audience, for tuning in. We must remain vigilant, and it is our civic duty and job to stay informed and to keep others informed. DSI Analyze.